Our next speaker is Matt Pickett, and he's going to present using Edge AI-enabled UAS to support response and rescue of cold stunned sea turtles. So, Matt, if you're ready.
That's a tough act to follow. That's pretty impressive, Aden. I'm very impressed. I'm Matt Pickett with Oceans Unmanned. We're a nonprofit dedicated to using unmanned technology or conservation technology for um, environmental research and monitoring. We've been around for 10 years doing different, unmanned system operations kind of around the world. Today, I'll be talking about a project we're working on with Texas State Aquarium and Ocean Wildlife Institute. The problem they came to us was with cold stunned sea turtles down in Texas when cold fronts come through there, and the sea temperature gets down below 50 degrees Fahrenheit. Turtles can become cold stunned, which means they become immobile and they have the possibility of drowning. So right now, the way they respond to that is kind of opportunistic overflights, or they send out fleets of research vessels, recreational vessels, and just kind of hope they stumble across these turtles while they're cold stunned, just kind of floating around helplessly. And they'll pick them up. And Texas State Aquarium has recovery facilities. And for example, in 2021, 13,000 turtles were cold stunned, was the estimate, and only 32% survived that event. So how do we get better at targeting and finding these and kind of making the recovery and rescue more efficient? So they started using some drones to overflights because that's cheaper than manned aircraft, launched from the shore and from small boats. But trying to find a cold stunned turtle, as you see in this image, can be difficult. Basically, looking for a needle in a haystack through the viewfinder of the drone if you have connectivity and live video. So we want to automate that process and start looking at edge AI embedded on the drone to basically help. And then you could send out several drones and just get the information that you needed without staring at a video screen. So Ocean Unmanned does have some AI work with UAS back a few years ago when we were working with the ocean cleanup, mapping surface-borne marine debris. And we would fly in front of the recovery ships and kind of map the surface-borne marine debris. But that was done kind of after the flight. It wasn't done on the edge. And so we're taking that kind of concept of making hotspots of things you see on the surface and trying to make that embedded on the drone itself. And so we have a payload in development using a Sony ILX LR1, which is a drone specific, I think it's a 62 megapixel camera with a NVIDIA Jetson embedded in the payload, running a YOLO version 8 model to basically take a photo every few seconds, run that image through the NVIDIA on board, and basically answer a yes or no. And if it's a yes, then we will send that latitude and longitude of a positive sighting back through the ground control station to a moving map display on the ground control station or on the vessel or on the beach where the UAS operator is. And so you can get basically live heat maps of cold stunned turtles. And then we can direct the response vessels in a much more efficient manner to recover and rescue those turtles. So right now we're in the stage, we have all the hardware. Next step is to start training the model. The good thing about working in the marine environment is um, it is a continuous solid background. So if there is any anomalies, they're easier to detect. And of course, there'll be a lot of false positives originally, but as we train the model and get more and more imagery, that model will get smarter and smarter. So we're using two kind of different data sets to train the model. Images from NOAA fisheries. I think Melissa Cook is on this call. She's been providing from NOAA fisheries a lot of the real turtle imagery, but as you can imagine, it's hard to get enough images to train a model. So we've also been using a 3D printed model that was actually from an MRI scan of a real turtle that Texas State Aquarium ran through their MRI and then fed that information in a 3D printer. And that's the picture you see on the left there is actually a drone imagery of the model turtle floating. And in this case, we can go out whenever the weather is good and collect hundreds and hundreds of images at different sun angles, different water clarity, different altitudes, instead of just hoping you find the turtle that you need in regular turtle surveys that NOAA is supplying. So we can really supplement the amount of imageries we can collect to train the model. And I think that's probably my 5 minutes, so I'll stop for questions. And any turtle questions, Melissa can jump in and answer since I'm not a turtle person. I'm an operationalist.
We have a question on the chat. I'm gonna direct you to answer all questions there because we need to continue. Thank you very much.